Hi everybody. Today we heard some big news from Apple. Apple has just announced a few weeks before they roll out the new phones, they've just let the world know, hey, we're going to be super friendly. We're going to open our arms and embrace the independent repair community with a new program called the Apple Independent Repair Program. So it's a completely made up, who knows what this is, big black box of a program. All we know is that Apple's trying to look like they're giving us a big kiss. And maybe they really are. This might be a huge win for the right to repair. This might be them actually complying to what we've been asking for all these years. Maybe it is. Or maybe it's totally not. We don't know for sure. So let's spend a few minutes talking together. I want to hear you guys what you think on chat. I'll be checking in with chat as we go. And we're going to talk about what do we know about this program? What does it mean for consumers? What does it mean for you? How is this program different from the existing Apple Authorized service program, which really stinks and doesn't do any repair? So we're going to kind of look at that and the details of what we know about that program. How might this be different? What are the questions? What are the rules? What do we know about it? And specifically, whether or not should we all sign up? And what does it mean if we do? Should we get certified? And what can we do with advertising and logos? So we're gonna check into these questions and see what we can figure out with what all of that means. So before we start that, though, I wanted to show you guys something new. And that is, I got some mail from Apple this week. I got some mail from Apple, and that mail was a letter. So let me show you the letter. This is my letter. Look at that. So you guys remember that a few weeks ago, really as a joke from my 15-year-old student, Sam, from Washington, D.C., who came up for the course. Sam, who at age 13 became Apple certified, said, hey, why don't you do that? And I said, that's a great idea, it'd be fun. And so I took the Apple Certification Service Fundamentals exam live on stream. And you can check the channel and watch that actually happening live. And we passed the certification. So I went ahead and at home the next day, I took the Apple certification for iOS technician. So that's the one that actually comes with a certificate. And I passed. I didn't do any studying. I didn't pay the $300 for the Apple technician training or the Atlas resources. All I did was look stuff up online. So I Googled the questions and just used common sense. I did make use of some folks that are on the Louis Rossman's Discord server that are Apple authorized people, and just said like, hey, which shape is on the iPhone 6 repair plate? Is it the hexagon? And they were able to answer those readily, and I took that with it was open resource, so I took it and passed. And then I said, hey, Apple, send me the certificate, and they did. So it showed up in the mail, and I wanted to share that with you. So I got this in the mail. This is an Apple logo that Apple sent me in the form of a frameable certificate with my name on it that says Apple Certified iOS Technician. So what can I really do with that information? This is different than being Apple Authorized. I'm not Apple Authorized. I'm never going to be Apple Authorized. That means I don't have a business relationship with Apple. I'm not privy to their parts or information, at least not right now. And I'm not going to do that program because that program really stinks, and I'll show you why. So they gave me the certificate. What can I do with the certificate? Well, to the letter of their law, let's take a look at, let's take a look here online. Let's take down my letter. Oh, this is what I did with it. Look, this is the window of iPad Rehab right out front. I went over to Copytown in Lima, New York. They're our local print shop. Really great local people, local business. And they do mail in, mail out graphics as well. You guys are welcome to use my graphics and just stick your logo on them and make them exactly the same. So you can contact them on Facebook. And I told Maria, hey, maybe somebody from Stream will want to do the exact same thing. So if you have Apple certification, make a sign like this: Apple certified technicians doing unauthorized repairs. Now, are we allowed to do that? I don't know. Is there a law that says you can't? I don't think so. Apple probably doesn't like it, and it may well be against their heavily legal policy. That's kind of up for you to decide. But I think the spirit of their policy, which is protection of their brand, they don't want people to put up an Apple logo and say, hey, we're Apple certified, and then actually be using aftermarket parts. Totally reasonable, and I totally get that. So we're not doing that. We're making it crystal clear. We have passed the Apple certification, and we're doing unauthorized repairs, which means we can fix your device whether Apple wants us to or not. And we're trying to make that message really clear for the consumers. And that's a movement that I think is really strong for everyone to do. All you have to do is get your Apple certification and then make it clear. You're doing unauthorized repairs using aftermarket parts and fixing things for the consumer rather than being driven by the manufacturer's policy. So there you go. Let's go ahead though and take a look at, let's go over here and see if we can find some of the boilerplate stuff. So let's look and see, what are you actually allowed to do if you're Apple certified? So first up, we're going to talk about Apple certification, because Apple certification is sort of underlies all of these Apple programs that we're going to go through. So Apple certification, step one, Apple certification. So let's start with, let me get rid of our logo. Let's go to the web, and let's get rid of that. And let's get rid of the decal. And let's bring back a browser. All right, so here we are on a browser. Okay, so let's say that you want to get Apple certified like we did. Where do you start? I'm going to direct you to go to iPadRehab.com and then click on our blog, where we've written 2 articles, and we probably will write more about this topic. The first is what's the process for getting Apple's certification? And then the second was a study guide to help you pass that service fundamentals test. You have to get all of the battery safety questions right. So we did a video and we made a study guide to help you do that. But let's look at this article, how to go about getting Apple certified. This is the biggest question that we're getting calls and notifications, emails all day, every day about this certification. We got Apple certified, and so should you. And here is why. We want to be clear that Apple certified is not the same as Apple authorized. From their own website, it tells you. Certified, just like my letter says, Apple certifies the skill of the technician with the certification exams, even though those exams are done. And then that's different than Apple authorized, which is that business relationship. So that means you can become Apple certified but remain independent, and do unauthorized repair like us. So how do you do it? So you need to follow this process. If you already are an iPhone user, you'll need to get a new Apple ID. You can do that pretty readily, so just get a new Apple ID, and then you'll go to click here, and it will convert your Apple ID to a Tech ID. Then you go over to certifications at apple.com, and you just follow all of this stuff. And that's how you'll get access to the test. You need to be prepared to take the test. You'll only have, I think, 48 hours from when you pay them the $20 to you have to have completed the test. You can fail it one time, and then you'll get a second try, but you'll only get those 2 tries for that $20. Otherwise, you'll have to re-up and pay again. So make sure that you're prepared. One thing you can do is you can go to Apple and you can buy, for $300, anyone can do this, you can buy their training manual, which is all full of boring information. Or you could do what I did and just Google that. So you Google the word Atlas, iPhone battery. That's what I did to find the battery information that we made the study guide from. So you can Google a lot of this stuff. It's all open resource, so you're not breaking the law, not breaking any rules, and become Apple certified. So that's what we did to become Apple certified, was this process. Now, once you are Apple certified, what does that mean? So here I'll call your attention to this, the legal. Whenever you get to Apple legal, be prepared for a lot of words and letters. So it's hard to make sense of all of this stuff, and it's just a whole lot of CYA, cover your ass from Apple. And let's see if I can even remember, like all of this sort of trademark logo, trademark logo, your representation. So what can I do with my certificate? So I have my certificate. What can I do with that? And I think the spirit of what they're trying to say here is that if you have a shop where one person is actually an Apple certified technician of certain, just for iOS or just for Macintosh or just for one of their other thousands of certifications, that's at the level of the individual. And Apple is right to say that it may be unfair or misrepresenting things for the shop to claim to be Apple certified. The shop's not certified, the person's certified. And I think that they have a point there. So I'm going to require that everyone on my team pass the same certification that I did, so that we can all everyone working here will have those same certifications, because it's pretty straightforward and easy enough to do. So what they're saying is that, yeah, you can put up that letter, or you can hang your certificate. It's got your name. You can make a business card, anything that's personal. A letter from you personally can say Apple Certified iOS Technician. But what they don't want you to do is what I've done, which is to imply that the whole shop is certified. So they're kind of making it clear that blah, 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 authorization, blah, blah, no one can ever make sense of all of that stuff. Let's go to the other one. The one where you get Apple identity, so trademark stuff, if you're an Apple certified individual. That's me, I'm an Apple certified individual. So this one's a little bit easier to read. Certifications are granted to individuals, okay, and my capabilities have been certified by Apple, woo woo, and it can be used on personal communication, blah, blah, blah. If certified individuals like me are employed by a company, signature cannot appear on general company communications like I've done. So they're saying, yeah, we're really not cool, Jessa, with you getting certified and then putting up something that says Apple Certified Technicians on a giant window decal. And to that, I'm saying, I think that's too bad. I think that I'm complying with the spirit of the trademark. I don't think that I'm misleading consumers. I think I'm being crystal clear. I am an Apple Certified Technician, as is everyone else on my team. So everybody through that glass is an Apple Certified Technician, and we are doing unauthorized repairs. We're crystal clear. Right now, we have no access to Apple OEM parts and batteries or anything else, and we are using aftermarket parts. So we're crystal clear, and that word in big red bold letters, unauthorized repairs, is the movement that we think is really important to show consumers that we're working for you. You can trust. We have the skills and capabilities certified by the manufacturer, but yet we're not beholden to their policies. We're unauthorized. So I'm looking to make unauthorized repair be a word that people seek out, that they value. And that's something that I'm asking for you guys to think about as well. See if we can show the consumers the value behind the word unauthorized, where we're working for them. And we say right there, we work for you, not for Apple. We're not trying to sell you a new phone. We're trying to fix your phone, because that's in your best interest, and you're our customer. Okay, so that's what I wanted to kind of show you about what is going on with this certification, what you can and can't do. So it's according to the court of Jessa Jones, Jessa Justice says, go ahead and make those logos. Look at that. Go ahead and put that up on your walls, on your windows, put it in your communication. Be crystal clear that you have Apple certified technicians that are performing unauthorized repairs with parts that are good for you and your phone. And use your own customer service, your own warranty to support your repair work in your community. And I think people will really respond to that. So I'd like to see you guys show me your promotional materials, and of course you can go to hit up Copytown, and you're welcome to use mine if you get yourself certified. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Let's talk about this actual news about the new program, Independent Repair Program. So it all kind of started here today, this morning from Apple, which is which, it's funny. Somebody in chat is saying, you have a lot of faith in people to not immediately be scared by the giant red unauthorized sign. Well, that's the point. I'm trying to create a movement where if you think about yourself, if you were going to go to, let's say, get away from phones, my car engine light is on. I can go to Toyota, or I could go to Toyota certified unauthorized repair. That's where I'm going 100% of the time. Why? Because what do you think of when you think about Toyota dealership repair? The number one thing I think of is expensive. That's going to be expensive. That's what I think. I think that's going to be expensive, and maybe not in my best interest. They're going to just throw parts in my device. In my car. I'm going to have to pay for all of that. They're going to have access to training and manuals and diagnostic codes and stuff like that, but it's going to be expensive. And I'm going to think it's going to be hard to get to. Where is the Toyota dealership? It's 25 minutes away. Who's down the street? Brian. I would so much rather have a trust with Brian and go over to Town Line Garage. And if they tell me that they are Toyota certified, that's going to mean something to me. And it's going to mean this sort of level of trust. You're certified by Toyota, and yet you're being so clear with me already, right from the sign, that you're doing unauthorized repairs. You're a trustworthy person. I trust you to look out for me and not try to sell me a new vehicle. I feel that it does inspire trust when backed by your own reputation, your customer service, the way that you talk to people, the way you explain things to your customers. I really think that because Apple has traditionally in the last couple of years been so consumer unfriendly, they've lost their premium reputation that they used to have. And they're trying to get it back, but I think it's too late. Right now, Apple, people expect to be lied to. People expect it to take a long time. People expect to be told they're using it wrong. People expect for them to be sold a new phone. And so I think people are we're just primed and ready to appreciate and value that word unauthorized. So make it big and bold and be unauthorized and own it and be proud of it. Sell it. Unauthorized repair. Make people want that. And I think that you can do that. That's a really, really strong movement that I think we should all do. So let's talk about this program, though. All right. Let's talk about this program. So today, the big news. Here we go. Press release from Apple. Apple offers customers even more options for safe, reliable repairs. All right. So here's the striking. This is an actual Apple guide because you can see the Apple certified little battery roller thing and little screen opener guy. Kind of think he's a little messy though. I'm a little surprised they don't have more like, put the put the lotion on put the screwdriver right here and the next one next to it. All right, so this tells us a little bit, just a little press release that says, hey, Apple's rolling out this new thing. So let's go read about it. Maybe we want to sign up. Support apple.com, the IRP program. So if we click there, it leads to this guy. Here we are, Independent Repair Provider IRP program. All right, so what's this? Who can apply? Anybody. Yay! Unless you sell parts, in which case, no. You got to have a business. So this is all very light. This is all that we know for sure. This is all that we know for sure. So you got to have a business, and it's got to be not a house or an ambulance or, P.O. box. You have to be Apple certified. We just talked about that. So in order to apply, you have to be a certified technician. All right, how do you get Apple certified? Sure, you can do the online testing center stuff. You can, go read all about it, and they are going to suggest that you pay them the $300 for the Apple preparation or technician training program or something like that. Or you could just not do that and just Google this stuff. That's what I recommend. To apply, you're just going to send them an email, which I did first thing this morning. I already sent them an email. Legal name, owner, blah, 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 blah. Disclaimers, and this is it. This is the bottom of the page. This is all that we know. Don't bother if you don't follow these rules, and we're not going to let everybody in. And number 3, we might not, we might just ignore you permanently. And then the last one, here we go. Apple will, and this is the big catch, right? Apple will not consider applicants that use Apple trademark terms as part of any company name like iPad Rehab or web pages, unless you comply with another big page of verbal diarrhea from Apple Legal, which no one could ever possibly understand, so don't even bother to try. So, so they do have a link here. Oh, great, Apple Legal, my favorite place in the world. Oh, God, oh, man. All right, this is impossible to decipher, especially because there's lots of other links and explanations, and it goes on and on and on. It's impossible to tell from a practical standpoint the answer to this question. Can I say on my website, let's say you guys aren't dumb enough to name your business iPad Rehab. That's probably a deal breaker. Although I would make the argument that iPad Rehab is simply a description of what we actually do. Apple does not repair iPads at all. So it can't really, you could make an argument that it can't really be confused with Apple because Apple doesn't provide that service. There is no repair of iPads. But regardless, it's a dumb name, so we should change it. I don't have any problem with that. So let's forget about that part and just say, what about a typical store called Bob's Repair? Bob's Repair. Can Bob's Repair say on their website, I fix iPhone screens? Well, iPhone is one of the Apple word marks, so it's completely unclear. Let's just go with the court of practical common sense would say, sure, you absolutely can do that. They're just trying to protect themselves, as is reasonable. They're trying to protect themselves from you implying that because you buy Apple parts from them and you have Apple certified technicians, that you are Apple. So that's not really true. For example, let's say if you were CPR cellular phone repair, if they called themselves Apple phone repair, then that would sort of imply that they are Apple, when they're not. They're just buying parts from Apple and doing this independent repair program, which is definitely going to be less controlled than the Apple Authorized service program. Okay, so go ahead and apply. We can't say right now whether or not you're going to be kicked out because you have the word iPhone, as in we fix iPhone 6s screens. In fact, probably that's acceptable, right? But no way to know. And this is all the information that we have. So what do we know about this program so far? We know nothing. It's a giant black box, right? So that's what's really tough. Why did this information come out today here as we head into September? Traditionally, this September month is when Apple rolls out the new phones. How do people feel about Apple right now in the court of public opinion, which is the only thing that matters, the only thing that actually drives sales and makes people buy iPhones, is the court of public opinion. How do they feel right now? I don't know. If we did a poll, I'm going to guess there's a lot of people that in the last year have gotten really pissed with a lot of things that have come up that are very, very anti-consumer from Apple. Everybody knows it's difficult to get your phone fixed. Apple has tried to make it so that you don't have the right to repair. They get that, and this seems to be a very, convenient time to sort of make up this thinly described program where the details are who knows. Right? They've had this in the pocket for a while, and they're going to play this card called, hey, we're going to give independent repair a big hug. Fantastic. We love hugs. What kind of hug are we talking about? That's what we don't know. So what are our questions? We have a lot of questions, and this is what's really going to determine. Maybe this program is awesome. Maybe it is. We just don't know. We just don't know anything about it right now. So in order for it to be awesome, what does it need to look like? In order for it to be awesome, and Apple, if you're watching, please make it awesome. I mean, it would be great. Just make it be awesome. Make it be awesome. I'll get rid of the word iPad in my name. We can all be friends, and we can all do what's best for consumers. That's what everyone wants, right? We all want to be able to use these Apple products, and we want them to be able to last a reasonable amount of time. That's it. We're all on the same page. I don't understand why it has to be such a big controversy, a big war all the time. But this is what we need. So pay attention. This is what we need. Try to make it happen. We get it. We're trying. We get it. You have the right to control your brand and try to get people to have some quality. But we need it so that most shops can freely join. So it's not going to be cool if it's, yup, we picked 6 shops and we're done, so that now we can just say, oh, we had a program, you're free to join it. We don't take anybody though. So make it so most shops can freely join. And that's to make it accessible for consumers. Number 2, question, does it restrict the usage of quality aftermarket parts, right? So in order for it to be awesome, we need for the consumer to come in and for us to say, look at, touch and feel it. Here you go. This is an Apple iPhone 10 screen, LCD. Look at how it looks on the phone. See it? There you go. This one is a aftermarket hard OLED, soft OLED, LCD. Have them be able to look and feel and have a choice. Where it's our job as craftsmen to be able to do customer service and sales and to operate a business, which is working for the consumer in their best interest. This is how much this one costs. This is how much that one costs. And this is your OEM option. So in order for this to be awesome, it can't impede our ability to be professionals, have that trust that as professionals, we can provide to consumers aftermarket parts, an aftermarket option in addition to OEM options. So you can't tie our hands if you want it to be awesome, like we hope that you do. Does it include access to historically Apple-controlled paraphernalia, like the ability to reprogram Touch ID? And other things that are like that people want to be able to make their new screen still have whatever True Tone is and all of that other BS that the screen refurbishers are always cranky about. So does it have the access that we want so that if something happens and somebody comes in with a cracked home button, or if a cable is torn or something that's very reasonable happens, we need the ability to program a new home button with Touch ID. We need the ability to program a new screen with Face ID. We need the ability to, as a professional, be able to make our consumers go back out the door with the intact ability for Touch ID and Face ID. Please do that. Let it be awesome. And we understand that stuff is not free. And we understand that the independent repair program would likely be the same price as whatever it costs for Apple Authorized service providers. That's all part of the right to repair legislation and makes a lot of sense. All right, here's the next thing. In order to be awesome, this program needs to be able to allow independent repair people to do what we call real repair. And I'm a little nervous about this because that Apple certification is not real repair, right? So in my professional view as a craftsman, I would like to retain the ability to use my judgment in how I'm going to perform certain repairs. I understand what Apple guidelines are, but that's not necessarily always the same as what we consider real repair. For example, if I have a customer come in with a front camera problem, Apple Repair would have me take their entire screen and home button and throw it away or send it back to Apple. And I would have to sell them a expensive screen replacement because Apple Repair does not allow me to replace the one thing that's actually wrong, the front camera. So I need the ability to use my judgment and to be able to do real repair. I need that trust. Please make it be awesome, and please allow us to be professionals and to rely on the market, competition, our local customers, customer service, and our own salesmanship, our own craftsmanship to actually stay in business and not have your oppressive rules be the only way to do repair, because really, let's face it, those rules don't really do repair. Historically, they haven't. So please, let's be awesome and allow us to still do real repair. And then we'd like to be able to sell parts to consumers directly, just like, if you tried to get OEM part for other things, you can go to a parts supplier and you can buy OEM parts. You're not gonna, I know that's a no, but to be awesome, you'd give us that ability. To not be so, you got to send everything back to Apple and kind of like verify that you actually needed a screen because you're sending back the cracked screen, and to be too tightly controlled. Like, it's just fair. People should have access to parts, period. And same thing, does it require, like the Apple Authorized, the return of defective parts? Hopefully not. So that's what we need, Apple, for this to actually be a fantastic program that we all love. And I hope that it is. I really do, because then it's such a huge win for the right to repair, a great step in the right direction to just make it so that consumers can walk in to shops and be able to get their devices repaired. It'd be best if they could also do it themselves, but this is a fantastic step in the right direction if it meets some of these really, really basic requirements. But we don't know. As it is now, the program looks like this. Big black box, big black friendly hug from Apple for the independent repair community, but we have absolutely no idea what happens when we turn that page. All right, the other thing that I wanted to point out for everybody is the difference, or why there's skepticism from the community of why this black box looks just like a black box and nothing more. And that's because of how awful the AASP, the Apple Authorized Service Program, really is. So Apple Authorized Repair sucks. And when you see, all these news articles like Best Buy is now Apple Authorized, that sucks, because Apple Authorized Repair is not real repair. It's heavily controlled non-repair, and it's terrible. And I want everybody to understand why. So here's a graphic that I've used for a long time. If you are an Apple Authorized service provider, so that's completely different. Apple Authorized Repair is different than this new independent repair program. And Apple Authorized Repair, AASP, is different than Apple certification. So what is this? Apple Authorized Repair. If you are Apple Authorized, you can't do any repairs. See in the graphic? If you're Apple Authorized and somebody comes to you and says, my iPad's cracked, you tell them, I can't help you. If they come and they say, I've got an iPad with a charge port that's broken, I can't help you. Nothing's repairable for iPads whatsoever. If they tell you, I've got a front camera on my iPhone, they can't just replace that front camera. They would have to replace the entire screen plus home button and front camera, ambient light sensor, proximity sensor, big old piece. What if you had water damage and you need data recovery? They can't help you. They're going to tell you, take a hike, nothing you can do. What if they have the classic problem of iPhone 7 audio IC or iPhone 6 Plus touch disease? Super classic, massive epidemics. I can't help you. In fact, I've never heard of it. They're required to tell you that's news to them, even though hundreds of thousands of people have this problem. Nope, never heard of it. So it's really, really awful. If you need an older phone fixed, too bad, I can't help you. That's vintage. We don't have parts for that. But if you need a battery, they can do it. Or if you need a screen for a modern phone. So that's it. So Apple Authorized Repair is a whole lot of I can't help you. So it's not real repair at all. It's mostly a waste of time for people that actually go there. This is what Best Buy would look like. If you took anything other than a screen or a battery to Best Buy, it's a whole lot of we can't help you. Versus independent repair, which says yes to all of that. Any independent repair shop is going to be able to help you with any of those things or refer you to somebody that they work with that can do it. So that's what Apple Authorized Repair looks like. And I wanted to show you just how strange it is that what the independent repair program looks like. Let's just compare a couple things. This is the Apple's page on the independent repair provider program. Who can apply? 4 or 5 bullet points. That's it. One page. That's the new independent repair provider program. Big black box. And let's compare that to where is it? Here we go. The Apple Authorized, the AASP Service Provider Program. So 4 pages here as we look at the Service Provider Program Manual. So a giant manual. And this is an excerpt from it. where look at the kind of detail that the AASP program is known for. Just on this, like, what if I wanted to be AASP? Why not stop at just getting parts? Let's actually be Apple authorized. What would it take? Well, you gotta have your workshop and part storage area must be physically separated from the reception area, so consumers can't see the parts. What? Why? All of this ESD protection, which is fine. Storage, this one. Storage of parts for repair has got to be on strong shelves. What? Why are you telling me? Don't tell me how my shelves have to be strong. That stuff is common sense. Let me have just a little bit let me have a tiny speck of common sense. Let me at least be able to pick out how thick a piece of plywood board needs to be in order to hold a couple of screens. Just leave it up to me. Just give me a little bit of trust. Just expect that if I'm putting in screens on high-end smartphones, that I can put a shelf up. Just that, no, they got to tell you exactly how to do that. It has to be protected to avoid scratches or stains. Oh my God. Lighting and ventilation, space, workbenches, internet access. Right, so the control is massive, and then we're starting to get into all of these like metrics. How many repairs you fix for the first time? So it's just, you can just kind of feel this like weight of heavy Apple control just dragging you down. This is what Apple authorized service providers look like. This yoke of responsibility and metrics and excruciating control, coupled with an inability to actually fix anything. That's traditionally been, and still is, the model for Apple authorized repair. That's their in-house repair. If you're going to hang up a sign that says you're Apple authorized, that's what it means. Can't fix anything. Heavy, heavy, heavy control. So that's what gives us pause when we say, hey, great, independent repair, new program, which is great. Please make it awesome. Make it be awesome. I noticed that there's no information on what any requirements are. There is absolutely no answers given so far to our questions here on, what is this going to look like exactly? Make it be awesome. Just make it be awesome, and then we'll all be done with this. All right, I want to check in to see what chat thinks about this. This is a good talk. Who dislikes his stream? Aren't you glad you took the Apple test? Yes. Let's see. Let's see if there's any actual questions. Too much of a gray area. Let's see. Previous experience or history with Apple as a service provider or reseller? Yes, I have no previous experience with Apple as a service provider or a reseller. Let's see. You can't apply for independent repair provider if you are ASAP. Okay, well that sounds good. Let's see. This is hilarious. All right, so let me know if you have any other questions or things that you think are important. My wife already controls me. I am letting Apple totally ruin my life by controlling me as well. All right, yes. So here's the deal. We don't know the answer to whether or not the new Apple Independent Repair Program, maybe it's awesome, and I hope that it is. Maybe it is a huge win for right to repair. Maybe it is. But I don't know. So let's all apply and let's find out. Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. That's what I say. Let's let it be awesome until further notice. I'm going to assume the best in people. I'm going to assume that it's going to be awesome. And I understand and I get that Apple has every right to try to say, hey, we don't want people looking like they're Apple authorized. We don't want people looking like they're installing our batteries with our, like buckets of sand around them with, throwing away batteries with like 4 dents in them. We don't want them to appear like that to the public when really they're just regular people. I get it. They have every right to try and present a uniform experience. They have every right to try to make institutionalized repair. But then they got to own that. So if you want to have an independent repair program, then have an independent repair program and let the independent people actually do real repair and use your parts, just like every other thing that has ever existed. Just let people have access to the parts and butt out. How about that? So that's what I hope is going on. And for those of you guys that maybe are not eligible, or maybe get rejected, or if some time goes by and you just don't hear, then I strongly encourage you to send the message to the public, which is the same thing I am doing out in the front window, which is that it's okay to be Apple certified technicians that have been certified by Apple, that we have the skills, the knowledge, and the capabilities to repair Apple products, and then make that crystal clear that you're doing that in a way where you work for the consumer, not for Apple, by doing unauthorized repairs. Let's make that word unauthorized a really, really great message that people seek out. The unauthorized guys. Those are the guys that have my back. Those are the guys that are going to put the parts in my phone that are going to make it actually work. Those are the guys who are going to tell me the truth. If those guys tell me I need to get a new phone, I'm going to believe them because I trust them. Unauthorized equals consumer trust. Let's send that message, make that message, stand behind that. Use the word. Don't be afraid of the word unauthorized. It's a fantastic word. Unauthorized equals trustworthy. Unauthorized equals we work for you. We're not trying to sell you a new phone that you don't need. Our goal is your happiness. We thrive, we live on your reviews. If you have a bad experience with our parts, that's bad for our business because we're small and we're local. We're unauthorized. And yet, we're certified by the manufacturers. It's just all about trust. So send that message and join me in becoming Apple certified, unauthorized repair technicians. Put those signs up. Let's see. And I would really like to see what happens when what the court of public opinion, how they would feel about an organization saying, "Now we don't want you telling people that you're certified and unauthorized." Why not? Nobody's trying to hide anything. Completely above board. Alrighty. And that is it for this stream, and we'll see how this program develops. I applied for it, you should too. And in the meantime, be Apple certified unauthorized technicians. If you need help figuring out how to get certified, go to iPadRehab.com and click our blog. You can see our study guide, you can see the little steps you need to do to take to become certified, so that you too, in 3 or 4 weeks, because it takes a ridiculously long time to print a piece of paper, you too can get an Apple certified iOS technician certificate to hang on your wall. And that is it for this one. See you next time.